Hey guys, happy Monday evening now. I know that I did a live earlier. I met a dear friend of mine, Regina Lawrence, who I tagged in this video earlier today for coffee, and we were just, kind of talking about, our businesses, what's going on, and obviously she is also a coach. She has her own business. She has her own brand, and just want to say hi to everybody that's coming on. Hi Anne Marie. Hi Mariana. Tim, good to see you on here. So say hi and where you're coming in from. And if you don't follow Regina, I highly suggest you to. And I believe there she is. I'm going to add Regina in because we got some things that we want to talk about, and it's really important for network marketers or coaches, business owners to know these things. Hi, Reg Law. Can you hear me? Hi, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Is your sound coming through? Hold on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hey!
Hey, long time no see.
I know, just a couple hours.
That's right. Well, I wanted to pop on here just because, we were having a very in-depth conversation about social media, about network marketing, about having your own brand outside of it. And, obviously you and I both having coaching practices now, and obviously working with clients, we're actually both noticing some trends. We're noticing what people are and are not doing on
Yeah.
social media. People, ask you all the time, like, what are you doing with your posts? And we talked about today how there needs to be a big shift in educating network marketers about the importance of building their own brand outside of their network marketing business, because a lot of them get so consumed with the business and the products and this and that that they almost lose sight of what they're actually doing. So, just share your own thoughts of what you've personally noticed, the shift that you made, and why it's so important for network marketers to start understanding that there needs to be more of you and yourself, and not just the product alongside of you.
So you cut out for a second, but I think I know everything that you asked. So something that I am noticing with network marketers is that they are not, and I have been a network marketer for 2 years, that people in the community are not building a personal brand. They are building a brand, quote unquote, of copy and pasting other people's content, which is not true to them. And they are creating a brand of products. And that is not a brand, that is a commercial. And we don't want to be a commercial for a shake or for a supplement. And so, what I have done and what I take a lot of pride in, and this is an analysis I've done myself, is who am I? What do I represent? And what do I have to offer? And in network marketing, if I'm selling a product, how do I use that in my life? Like, how do I highlight that incredible product that I'm so passionate about in my everyday life? So, the question I ask myself is like, who am I? What do I represent? What is authentic to me? And I share that. So for me, I am a huge believer in the power of the words that we speak and the thoughts that we think. and mantras. And I'm always posting a daily mantra on my page. And so that's me. I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual. I'm a dichotomy. I'm spiritual. I use the F word. Like, that's who I am. And that's great. And so if I'm selling a product, I'm going to introduce the product through my lifestyle in my Instagram stories, just like talking about my day, making a shake, or whatever I'm doing. And so, circling back, the biggest thing that network marketers are not doing is they are not creating a brand unique to them. They are copy and pasting a brand. And that's a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. It's almost like not understanding attention and awareness. And obviously, you and I see the trends when there's a new shake flavor. That's everyone's post. Um, if there's a new hot transformation, everyone is sharing the same transformation. And a lot of people aren't even sharing their own journey. And this is something that I've told people in the past. If there's any transformation that you should be sharing that is going to resonate most with your audience outside of the people that are already in your company and outside of the people that are already on your team, is your own transformation. And you
Absolutely.
see, you go through people's news feeds, you haven't seen their own transformation in like 6 or 8 months, or maybe even never, because
Right.
people care about you. So obviously, in network marketing, you're taught to do what those above you are doing. And this could be a blessing, this could be a curse, because depending upon the team that you're on, it's either going to benefit you or it's going to hurt you, because again, the way that you do something may work for you, but it may not necessarily work for the other person. So put yourself in the shoes of that individual that is struggling, that is frustrated, that wants to do things differently, but they're afraid. They're afraid of what their upline might say, whether it's hiring a coach or posting a different way. Because we've both been there, you and
Mm-hmm.
I. What did you learn from embracing that and then stepping into your own power? And what advice could you give to that person that may be watching this now or later that will really resonate with? They're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, and they're not really sure what to do.
So the advice that I would give is that your business is your business. And no matter who your upline is, your downline is, whatever, like your business is yours and you are your business and you are your brand. And as you grow a following, you will learn who your following is. I'm a millennial girl. Most of my friends are not married. Some of my friends have children, but not a lot of them. Most of my girlfriends are lawyers and doctors on social media. So the way that I'm going to market and brand to them isn't going to be the way that an upline who's a mom that has kids is going to market. So
Right.
we cannot market and brand the same. And so, learn if you have a great upline, learn from what they do. But even if you have the greatest upline, you are two different human beings with two different experiences. So if you're selling a product and you had a product experience, even if you didn't have a huge weight loss transformation, but your energy has changed, tell a story. Tell everybody about how you wake up in the morning and you feel freaking amazing. Or like now that I'm in the coaching space, I'm coaching women. And I don't want to tell people what to do. I want to tell them what I've been through. I want to tell them stories about where I've come from. And that's the thing. Like, you can have the greatest upline, but you got to be authentic to who you are as a person and your experience and your story and share that. Because that's what people, I was thinking about this today. Like, when people buy a product, they buy it for emotions. They buy it because I have an emotional connection to you, Scott, to your experience, to your life, and I trust you. And so why would I trust you? Because you're vulnerable. When somebody's vulnerable in their post, you feel that emotional thing, that emotional connection, and that's why people buy. So the short of it is you have to be faithful to who you are and where you are in your life, and then you have to story tell that to people.
You know, one of the big things that I learned that I saw happening with me is that, you know, when you marry the company you're with, which you should, because you should embrace all of it, you end up almost losing your identity of who you are as an individual. You just become the product.
Hmm.
And and I can relate that to when I was a personal trainer. I actually got so lost in being a personal trainer that I forgot about my personal identity as Scott. And I started to see the same thing happen with my network marketing business. I was so caught up in making sure that I had a transformation up all the time and I was showing my products all the time, because if I didn't, I was going to miss an opportunity or but what I found was the less that I did, the more curious people became.
Hmm.
Because what I found, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is the the before and afters, the product stuff. I was getting frustrated with myself because the only people that were liking and engaging were, again, people that were already in my opportunity
Hmm.
and people that were on my team. And I kept asking myself, all right, how do I start attracting the 4,980 other friends that I have that are not involved in this opportunity? Because they're obviously not relating to this. They're obviously not attracted to what I'm doing. And it wasn't until I started shifting the way that I posted, where I started posting more about me and my life and my passions. And I started broadening my horizons on social media, doing more on Instagram, showing my life, embedding myself in LinkedIn from a business aspect. How important has it been for you to also break that same habit of taking your business to the next level by not stepping away from the business, but stepping into who you are?
Something that I have done, and I know that you do this, we've talked about this a lot, is not just one way that I've stepped into who I am, and Gary Vaynerchuk says this all the time, is you have to give, 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 right? So even if we're selling products for a network marketing company, what are we giving to the people who are following us? So whether that's motivational words, whether that's stories about our own lives, whether that's free ebooks or free content that we give, how are we serving people on social media? How are we contributing to the conversation? Because if we're just asking people to buy, if we're just asking people to buy products, we are not serving. And that is what we are required to do as marketers on the internet, as we're selling ourselves and we're selling products. We are to give, and we are to give through sharing our stories, sharing advice, sharing content, sharing information, sharing positivity, sharing something funny, anything. Just give. Gary Vaynerchuk says jab, 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 hook. Like give, ask, you know. And that's something that I've really been learning is just to give, share, and people show up more than they ever did when I would just ask, 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 ask.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, one of the big things that I've learned and I'm continuing to learn is that, you know, people get so consumed with the marketing side of network marketing that they completely forget about the networking side of network marketing.
Hmm.
So they're just pumping out pictures and selfies and wow faces and whatever they're doing. Like it's just posts and posts and posts and posts. But the most important aspect of network marketing is actually networking to create conversations with which create leads, which
Hmm.
allows you to get answers to see if people are interested. So what have you seen? Because we've talked about this and we've seen this. We see more people now more than ever that are in non-action than actually in action, and they feel that posting and doing all that stuff is being in action, when in reality it's just feeding some sort of habitual habit that they've been taught to do, to just post, just get something out there, just post, when there's actually now becoming no rhyme or reason behind what they're doing. So what have you noticed from this aspect about how people are now getting lazy? They're posting and praying and not really putting any thought. Just like you said, copying, sharing just stuff, copying someone's exact words, not even telling a story.
Mm-mm.
They're actually copying the person's story and putting it in quotations. And I think we've all been victims of this. And it just wasn't feeling authentic. So what have you noticed on your end?
I mean, I see the same thing. I think of my upline as an incredible network marketer, and the reason why she is so successful and why she is such a top enroller is because she's a true human networker. Like, not just on social media, but in real life, she's connecting, she's talking, she's exchanging information. She is a true networker because she is not afraid to talk to people. She is not afraid to connect with people. And that is what is required, no matter what business you're building. And whether you're talking to people in real life or you're dialoguing with people on social media, like, this is about connecting with people and talking to people. If you're posting, if you're, and then this goes to the next step, if you're creating stories and writing original content and people are commenting and liking on your content, engage with your audience. I see so many people that get so many comments and likes, and they're not social on their social media. Like, you have to, like, I try to, as soon as I do a post, because Facebook loves this and Instagram loves this, I try to keep my phone near me. So that way, as soon as people are commenting, I can respond, thank you. Like, and I'm even starting to do something that I heard somebody to say, thank you. What was it about this post that spoke to you? And get them to engage in conversation, because we are to be social on social media. And so for network marketers, it's the same thing. If you're creating content and you're going that extra step, then go a step further. And when people say, wow, that's beautiful, or, oh, that totally resonates with me, respond to them and say, thank you so much. What about this, resonated with you? Have a conversation, be social. And I see so many people, they don't do that. They post and pray and they hope that something will happen. And, like, guess what? That's not how it works anymore, right?
Yeah, I always say that, if you're posting and praying, you're sitting at a bus stop where there is no bus on that route anymore. You're just going to end up sitting there. So, you and I are both coaches. We both have niches. Everyone knows that um, you and I both absolutely have a solution for people's problems. Like, my solution is, showing people how to create more leads than time on LinkedIn. And your solution is teaching um, women, network marketers, coaches, um, to step into their own power,
Mm.
letting go of their past, um, not letting their stories dictate what they actually want to do with their life. So, talk about how you've came about with this with your coaching practice, and because people have noticed a shift in obviously your social media. So talk about this from the aspect of, maybe there's some people out there that obviously require your services, but maybe in their heart they have something that they've always wanted to do and they've been afraid to step into it. So talk about your practice a little bit, what you do, what you focus on, but more importantly, what was that little aha moment for you where you're like, you know what? If I'm going to attract this tribe of women that I know I can help, I need to start shifting things a little bit. So what tell us a little bit about the business. What was that aha moment? And what advice could you give someone that really it's playing on their heart right now, that they would like to do more but they're afraid?
So the coaching practice that I have for women, I'm a mindset rehabilitation coach. And what I do is I help women to understand why we are the way we are today, and how did we get here? What experiences in our lives led us to the place that we're at today? whether it was conversations at the dinner table for 18 years, the relationships that we had with our parents. How did we become the person we are today? And in understanding that, how do we become the most happiest, whole, most peaceful, successful woman today? I started this coaching practice because I went on this journey myself. I suffered from intense stress and anxiety. I'm in recovery from being an anxiety addict, and the pain became too great. I had this experience where I had, an overwhelming panic attack. I was sweating. I couldn't breathe. I was laying on the floor of my office, crying tears down my eyes, my arms stretched out. And I said to myself, this is it. I will never feel like this again. And I went on a journey. I coached with one of the greatest mindset coaches that the world has today. I met with health practitioners, and I just totally dove in and changed my life. And now I live this beautiful, peaceful, I have so much peace in my life. And I want women, I want all women, I want all people, but I want all women to feel the peace that I feel in my life and to understand why they are the way they are and to just have some peace and success and to really love their lives. And so for me, that shift, that transition was, Regina, you are called to serve. You are called to serve these women who are suffering the way that you suffered your whole life, and you know how to help them. You know the plan. So, my branding is vulnerability. That's the word that comes to mind. Being vulnerable, sharing about laying on my office floor in fetal position, crying because I was so anxious, sharing about, and these are stories I've written in posts, sharing about having so much hate for my body that I wanted to just cut off pieces of it because I was so uncomfortable in the skin that I was in. And that's my branding. It's just raw and real. And this is who I am. This is the pain. Like, I share my pain points because they were so deep. And I know because women message me all the time. I felt that. I lived that. I went through that. So that's my branding. My brand is me to my core. And that's what was different about network marketing for me versus my coaching business, is that there wasn't that deep emotional connection because I went on a different journey of with my soul and into myself. And that's what my branding is now. And it's so authentic. So my recommendation is, if you are somebody out there and there's something in your life that you want to do. Like for me, this was a calling of my soul. Like I felt in meditation the divine saying, "What are you doing? Just do it. Just do it." And my business coach, who I love so much, said, "What the fuck are you doing? Just do it. Like, this is your calling." And he was right. And I required that. And so if you are feeling a calling on your heart to do something, no matter how crazy you think it is, no matter whatever it is, make time for it and just do it, because your soul will feel so much more fulfillment doing something that you're called to do. And branding your business will be so authentic because you will be living in alignment with what you're doing.
That's beautifully stated, and obviously I've known you for a few years now, and I've seen you step into this power, and now you're helping other women. And I'm just going to use our friend Jamie France for as an example. Jamie recently started her own blog called the Dingle Hopper Food Diaries, and she loves Disney. She loves princesses and fairies and all of those things, but she also loves food, and she actually stepped into her own brand and her own business outside of what she does as a multipreneur, and this is now her passion, and she's stepping into it, and she's, again, this is her love, and she's sharing her love of food with others, and authenticity and vulnerability are two of the greatest strengths. And I think that's the one thing that people misunderstand, is that they're afraid to be vulnerable, they're afraid to uh, step into their own power and share the things that have affected them most, because of the fear of what other people might think, say, or feel about them. And it's about
Totally.
this assumed story that people are going to talk about you in a negative way, when it's not about the one or two people that might, talk shit or whatever about you and your story, but it's about the hundreds upon thousands of other people that are going to be empowered by your story to say, yes, I can. Regina's done it, so can I.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we know that social media plays a really big part here. And before we close out, what's one piece of advice that you can leave everybody with as far as starting to break that addiction of being addicted to their product instead of themselves, and how can they better use social media to start spreading their love and their vulnerability and their power so more people can actually feel what they're doing?
I think the first way that you can do that is you have to take some time with yourself, and you need to think about who you are and what you want. So many people just launch into a business and they don't know who they are, they don't know what they want, and they don't know what they stand for. I mean, that's what I did when I started, and I've grown and I've developed and I know who I am. So take some time and understand who you are, because once you understand who you are, like I serve women who are like me. I serve women who have had experiences like me. But if I didn't sit and spend time with myself to know who I am and what I am and who I serve, I wouldn't be able to do it. So a little bit of introspection and a little bit of self-knowledge is the first step. And then my second like tip is to just be fucking consistent.
Mm.
Be consistent. Be consistent in who you are as a human being every day, and bring that consistency to your posting. So I strive every day to be a better woman, to be a better human, and to be fucking consistent. And I bring that, and I strive to be vulnerable. It's Vulnerability does not come easy for me. It has not come easy, but I strive to be vulnerable in my relationships, in communication, and I bring that to social media. So those two things are my biggest tips.
Yeah, so just so you guys understand, everyone sees the glory, but they don't know the story, and there is something to be said with that, because if you don't start, you can't ever even take the steps towards achieving what you want to achieve. It's just plain simple facts. So don't be afraid to step into your power. Vulnerability is a strength. Showing who you are and what you stand for will absolutely set you apart from everybody else. And it's not, this isn't living in a world of competition. This is living in a world of creation. And if you would have asked Regina 3 years ago and me 3 years ago, would we be having these coaching practices that we had? And we would both say, no, you're crazy. I'm not going to be doing that. But you can't deny what the heart wants. And when you feel connected to something where you have a gift and you have something to share with others, you absolutely have to lean into that. And that is not to say that your heart and passion isn't with your network marketing opportunity, but you as an individual, you are the key to all of this. You take yourself out of the equation, it's just another
Mhm.
product. You bring life and light to everything that you do. So just remember that the next time you go to, post a picture of you drinking your shake, show a little bit more vulnerability. Talk about how your life has changed for the better. Talk about the downtimes. Everyone makes life seem like it's so amazing and it's rainbows and unicorns all the time. And I'm big on always being vulnerable and talking about some of the challenging moments,
Mhm.
because growth happens when you're being pushed back the hardest. So, Regina, we both have things to do coming up in a couple minutes, and I know that you have a busy schedule, and I really, really appreciate you popping on here, sharing your thoughts. And guys, if you're not connected to Regina on Facebook, absolutely follow her, send her a connection request. She's on Instagram at the Reg Law. And she just posts amazing content of vulnerability and empowerment. And I would also reach out to her if you feel that you can benefit from stepping into your own power. So, Regina, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Love you so much. Grateful for you. And I look forward to future collaborations together.
Love you. Such a great talk, Scott. Love being on with you. And my Instagram handle is now changed. It's at the Reg Law Coaching.
I love it. Okay, so obviously at the Reg Law Coaching on Instagram, and obviously you can connect with her. I tagged her in this post, so definitely follow her, check her out, and we will see you next time.
Bye,
Bye, Reg.
guys. Have a good night.
You too.